Begin UV2 sonic analysis. Sonically, they're deep, warm and focused. Spiritually, they're cool, tough and ruthless. Remind you of anyone?
David Frangioni, Lars Ulrich, on stage in St. Louis, Metallica 72 Seasons Stadium Tour. There are 4 drum kits here. They're identical, so we're going to go over this one, and then we'll have covered all 4, and you'll see in the B-roll the other 3.
There you go.
What do we got here?
This is what we call number 1.
Okay. So the kits have a number.
Yeah, they each have a number because I play a different part of the set in each one of the kits, and so here we come in from over there, and we kind of walk in, and then this is the first destination.
Okay.
Yellow and black obviously relates to the 72 Seasons.
I love the black
color
rims.
scheme. Yeah,
I love the black.
Yeah,
rims.
it's very
Beautiful
cool.
touch.
Yeah, they've done a great job. Sam at Tama and his crew have been incredibly collaborative on this. And look at these drums; are so cool. Star Classics, the same shape and sizes that I've had. I'm not big on change, and I'm not super big on. We talked a little bit earlier in the interview about sort of exploring things and trying different things. As far as the drums are concerned, I like predictability and continuity.
Right.
So I've got pretty much the same shapes and sizes here. I've got 12, 13, 216s that are different depths, and a pair of 22 kicks. We've got, like you say, the black rims, which are new to this, and I've also this is the first time in a while that there's not the sparkle in them.
Okay.
Last time on the Death Magnetic campaign, they were orange with sparkle, and on the Hardwired campaign, they were purple with sparkle, and on the St. Anger campaign, they were green with sparkle. Now they're yellow and black, but no sparkle.
Flat finish.
There's
gloss.
a little bit of a gloss that shines in the lights, which is nice. Jimmy over there, who cleans these drums like there's no tomorrow, and is gracious with that. You can see it actually says in there kit number 1 in case we forget.
All right.
So the first 4 songs are played around here, and we've got the ever reliable, and I've been with. I mean, as you know, I've been with Tama and Zildjian for close. I've been with Zildjian for 39 years. Well, Zildjian and Tama for both 39 years, and these are Zildjian cymbals, 17, 18, 19, 18, so 18 and 20. We've got the Remo heads, which again have been, if you and I were standing here like 30 years ago, I think everybody would be, everything would be the same in terms of the Tama Zildjian and the Remo. The one thing that's different now is the head sticks, which is my sort of signature stick, the Lars Ulrich shape and size. I used to play with Regal Tip back in the day.
Oh, okay.
But other than that,
They're just wood sticks? They're your signature, but they're the materials.
well, the aluminium.
they're aluminium. Okay.
And there's sort of a little bit of a combo between. I used to play back in the day with Regal Tip. I had a 5B and a 5B and a 2A, different sizes for a heavier one for the snare hand and a lighter one for the ride hand. But they used to don't want to be disrespectful to Regal Tip, of course, but they used to break a lot, and and it was hard sometimes especially the faster songs to change sticks.
Sure.
And then my buddy Matt Sorum was playing with these when he started with Guns N' Roses, and he said these don't break as much, and I can tell you that they don't break as much. So they're very reliable. I break one maybe every 3 to 6 months.
Wow.
But
That's
other
not
than that, for the last 30 years, it's Remo, it's Tama, it's Zildjian. I'm very loyal when it comes to brands and have great relationships with all these companies, and just love, like I said, that I can rely on the drums, rely on just everything.
The sound that you're going to get too.
Yeah.
That's important. Like, what's going to kind of come back from the instrument.
Yes. And also, and so when you're playing in places like this, so much of, there could be one thing happening here, but Greg, who runs our live sound, obviously has some different needs out there, but, we have the mics, inside the bass drums, and I hear one thing here, and a different thing happens out there, which of course is the way it would be expected to be. One thing I hear, so this whole area here is called the snake pit. That garbage can, is usually not in there when we're playing. But other than that, this is the snake pit, and there's a good 800 to 1,000 people in here. And we were talking before. So if I'm sitting here and playing, I'm engaging with this group of fans here, or with these guys over here, and then you can see we're on a plate here, or on a sort of like a rotating piece. So this whole thing spins during the 4 songs. So I'm on each drum kit about a half hour, and during that, it just kind of turns.
Wow.
You can't really see it turn.
Okay.
But I sort of start in this position and really engaged over here. And then by the time I get over here, start engaging with this group of fans over here. So there's always, so when you're playing in this direction, these guys have your back.
Yeah.
And the thing that we were
That's
talking
awesome.
about, how you're completely sort of out there, and you're sort of vulnerable, and there's no place to hide.
Wow.
But again, it's a very exciting way to play, because you always know that wherever you turn, you're going to get energy back from the fans or from the audience.
Right.
And that's really cool. So we've got the Remo heads.
That's your signature snare drum?
Yeah, so this is the diamond-plated bell brass, which is the 30th anniversary. I think it plays into the Black Album anniversary from a couple of years ago. In the relationship with Tama, I think the bell brass snare drum was introduced maybe around 20 years ago. And when that concept came to me in the studio, it was so loud and so sturdy, and had a kind of a quack and a sound to it that I'd never experienced on any snare drums before. So I've been playing that depth since then, and they've sort of evolved. Every new campaign or every new album, maybe there's a different finish, but at heart, it's a bell brass snare drum, and it's loud AF. And actually, one thing that's pretty crazy is I hear a lot of times from friends or family that end up in the snake pit that they say that it's a really interesting juxtaposition to be able to hear the drums coming through the PA, but then also hearing them acoustically when you're this close.
Right.
And that snare drum makes a racket. I mean, it makes a racket. So it's kind of cool too for some of these guys to be able to hear the both the acoustic sound and what's coming through the PA. But that is the the diamond-plated bell brass snare drum, and it's
your signature snare.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I mean, it not only sounds amazing, it looks gorgeous.
And then the pedals and all the rest of the hardware is all
Cobra
Tama.
pedals.
Yep.
And so this has the date of
Yeah.
the show.
Yeah, just in case you forget. Yeah.
But on the drum head, so every show you have the date.
Yeah, the Reno folks are kind enough to put. What we do is through our charity, All Within My Hands. We make these available so people can buy if they want it. They're here at the show, and they want to buy the drum head from that actual show.
Wow.
And then they can see that this is from that particular.
Oh, that's awesome! And then it's all for the charity.
All for the charity, yeah.
Fantastic.
And so we've got, this is a special contraption that the carpenters have built. I have my drink here, my towels, and a fan straight from, where's this fan from? Target? Where's the fan from? Huh? Close enough. So it's just have one fan when you're playing. It's unpredictable. Obviously, sometimes it can be super hot when you're playing in the summer or whatever. Or, now it's pretty mild outside. But I don't use the fans a lot. I'm not one of these guys that likes air blowing on me the whole time. But if it's crazy hot, just a little bit of circulation. I usually have it angled, so it's I don't like it in my face when I'm playing, but usually have it kind of angled more to just circulate the air around the drum kit.
What's interesting, Lars, is you don't have a stick bag. You literally just have two pairs of sticks here. Yes. That says a lot about the reliability of your signature stick. Normally, I see a stick bag filled with enough wood for a small forest, but this is just two pairs, and that's it. So that's pretty reliable.
I like the the real quick on either side, but I don't like a lot of them sort of hanging out.
Right.
And so it's more. They basically never break during the show. Occasionally, I'll drop one if it's a little more humid. It gets slippery, but we have a special grip tape. But sometimes they'll get a little slippery if it's really, really humid.
Sure.
But I like just a pair in either. And so if I drop one, Jimmy comes up and replaces that one. But the whole idea of like the big stick bag has never been my thing so much. There's a couple of different mics, as you can see here.
Yep.
This is a little bit, it's something you sort of experiment as you go along and different mics become available. And I've never liked the big mics.
Right. I love how clean this looks.
Yeah,
you really don't see that.
I really like it clean and tried to be able to sort of communicate both in this direction, this direction, this direction.
Right.
And so I rely a lot on sort of eye contact and just feeling that you're sort of in it rather than the drums become a barrier that separates the fans from you and vice versa. So it's pretty clean.
And the cymbals, I said to Jimmy earlier, I said, I didn't know Zildjian still made platinum cymbals. He said, I'm not sure that they do either, but this is because we keep them so shiny. These are A customs that just look so spectacular. I mean, I've never seen A customs this, like they look like platinum. They look like they have a finish that is brilliant.
Yes.
Right?
But, they look great under the stage.
They really do. They sound
You'll
great.
see tomorrow at the show, and Jimmy, bless him, puts a lot of time and effort. There's a lot of
care.
There's a lot of care that's put into it. And when I play, I spit a lot, which should be no secret. Then I think it's okay to talk about that. And sometimes that spit sort of ends up on these cymbals. So he puts a lot of care into to cleaning them. It's just the way it goes when you're out here in the heat of the moment.
Yeah, a lot going on.
But I guess there's this camera here is to the monitor team who are hidden away way over somewhere. They're not, I don't even think they're out here.
So no eye contact, clearly. Not that you
no,
really
so
could
if I
anyway
need, I look into this camera and make some gestures up or down or whatever.
Nice.
And so that's the monitor. This is for, these two cameras are for the or the video
Okay,
screen.
so those go to the house.
Those go to the house, and that one is to the monitor board.
Cool.
Other than that, I don't know if there's anything specific. Although you can see there are some mics inside the kick drum.
Again, very clean. I love not seeing the little nubs, in front of the drums, like with the boom arm and everything. It looks just awesome. Hi, it's David Frangioni, CEO of Modern Drummer. Thank you for leading our drumming community and being such a significant and important part of everything we do here at Modern Drummer. We're so excited. Please hit the subscribe button to Modern Drummer's YouTube channel. It's just hit it below. Be part of everything we're doing every day, every week, every month. Also, check out our shop. It's so exciting for drummers to check out. We got back issues, got some incredible drummers. We've got shirts, we've got hats, we've got notebooks, we've got education. It's all there. If you love drums and drumming like I do, and I'm sure you do, and all of us at Modern Drummer are so passionate about, you got to check out the shop at moderndrummer.com. And please, again, hit the link and subscribe to the Modern Drummer YouTube channel. I'll see you again soon. And you're playing a coated head, which a lot of times you see, especially really heavy, rock drummers, heavy metal. You see a clear, a clear Emperor or something, or a pinstripe or something a little. Yeah. But this is a very musical, tone-driven drum head. We
So as you can see here, there's the 4 drum kits. It goes, I guess, is that counterclockwise, right? So that's number 2, number 3, and number 4. Okay. And then when I'm on this one, obviously the other 3 are down in the stage, so the stage is clear. So there's just one drum kit up at a time. But the biggest thing for the team, for the audio team, has been to have the continuity between each kit.
Right.
So we've made a few more changes with microphones and with the drum hits to try to make sure that when I go from this drum kit to the second drum kit, that there's a continuity and a dependability in the sound.
Right.
So it's not Greg, who's over here, our sound man, has to start from scratch again. And now what the hell is going on over the drum kit? So there's, on the second drum kit. So it's a little bit of took a little while to sort of get used to that, and you don't realize the how the smallest inconsistency can be pretty apparent.
Right. Everything's magnified.
Yes, yeah. So the whole team really works hard to try to have the continuity and to make sure that the differences are non-existent. So we have these plastic guys that keep sort of everything. The stage is pretty
rigid. Really.
Yeah, it's
Even
pretty rigid.
It's got a little bounce, but it's pretty solid.
But things move around, and listen, it is rock and roll, and there should be the human element and the human factor, and so we're not it's not robotic in that sense, right. and there has to be and we. I guess appreciate the 5 or 10% human element of it, but it definitely is a big part of it is to have the continuity as we go around, and Jimmy and the sound team work really hard to try. We're experimenting and probably will look next year at maybe even trying to get the tom mics into the drums, and have. To continue to sort of make it cleaner and continue to have that continuity, because things, it's like James comes over and, there's a lot of stuff that happens, right. And sometimes mics, so, sure. But again, that's all the part of what we call the human factor, right. Which has to be part of a rock and roll show. So we're continuing to sort of look at how we can evolve it. But for right now, it's sitting in a great place, and I'm ever grateful to, like I said, to Sam and his team at Tama, and to the incredible people at Zildjian Worldwide, and the folks at Remo, and the team at Headsticks, who continue to help us out and to, like in the case of the Remo hits, like you're saying, print the logo and the city and the date and
cool as heck.
all this type of stuff. So we try to make the experience as unique as possible. And this is really it. This is a newer edition. We've mostly over the years just used the under cymbal mics.
But you added 2 overheads.
We've added 2 overheads on this tour, which helps Greg and his team out in the house, and they're far enough and high enough apart for so I don't sort of bounce into them when I stand up. I like to sort of get up and move around, and in between songs I'll be over here interacting with these folks or over here doing this. So I like my pack is wireless, and I really like to sort of move around and to be all over the place. So I like you're saying, to keep it clean and to not have too many obstacles.
Right. And this is a cool touch because these are cymbal stands.
Yes.
So you use that sleeve.
Yes.
See, these little details to make are what just make all the difference. They really do. They make all the difference. And the audience, they just subconsciously, they just see it and it just looks very, very like together and unified. And it actually does what it's supposed to do. It doesn't call any attention to itself, because who cares about the overheads but the sound man? But part of the reason for that are all these little nuances that when you use traditional boom mics, like it just looks like, you just kind of look, oh, that's out of place. But this just all looks like one seamless setup, which I love. I noticed 2 triggers under the toms.
Yeah, it's a little bit of, if, to Greg and his team out in the sound, just, if there's inconsistencies.
They can blend.
Yes. And
because I don't see much triggering going on, if anything, really. It all looks very acoustic, very organic. But a lot of sound guys like that. They ask for the trigger as a backup. Like Eric Singer uses that. Like guys who are playing
especially
big places.
Especially on the toms more than anything.
Yeah.
And especially on these guys, it's there's so much. There's if when you're playing 4 kits and you want that continuity between the kits, I mean, it's just it's hard. That part of it, we were talking earlier in the podcast, just about takes sort of like a little while to just settle into all this.
Right. And there's such big places. The sound's just everywhere. This is very complex. All these speaker arrays. I mean, there's a lot to manage sound-wise.
What you can see, like we talked about, other than the garbage can, you can see there's no center point in the center of basically the whole stadium is the snake pit, and so the drums have traditionally been kind of in the middle of whatever in the round setup we played in before, but to kind of we call this the donut, because it's shaped obviously like a donut. This is a donut hole, and to be playing out here, it's such a unique setup, and one that like I said, we've never done before, and
I've never seen it done.
To our knowledge, we've not seen anybody else play it.
I haven't either. So you kind of figure it's trial by fire, because no one's done it. So now, like, what does that actually look like in reality?
Yeah, well, there's that whole thing about the difference when you're seeing it on a napkin, or you're seeing it in an email chain with a year before you play the first show. It's like, that looks great in an email as you're scrolling through, your 17 other emails that morning. And then it's like, holy shit, here you are in Amsterdam or whatever. And you kind of walk out. And we were in Amsterdam for 2 weeks, which was the first show. And you're kind of walking out. It's like, shit, it lives. This thing lives. And it's like a living, breathing entity. And then a couple of nips and tugs and you change this and there's so much, like I said, because there's no center point. You can see all the PA is just hanging from these like cables and all this stuff, all these towers.
No trusses.
Yeah, there's nothing of any of this stuff that's attached to any part of the building, because in arenas, it's all hanging from these grids.
Yeah. Now that you point that out, it's true. This is like the circus.
Yes,
but exactly. 50 times more technical. Like you're hanging these line arrays.
Yeah. Wow. So you could take this setup with these 8 towers, and you could move it out in the parking lot, and you could do the same thing out there because it's not dependent on any part of the shell of the building.
Right.
Which, like I said, it took many years to sort of figure out how to do this. You know, a few other bands, amazing bands, you know, U2 played in the round in stadiums 10, 15 years ago, but they had that whole...
the 360.
Yeah, they had that whole sort of...
Like a claw almost.
Yeah, the claw that everything was suspended from. And
Right,
so,
right. It was a huge truss.
Yes.
As opposed to this is like this is like trustless.
yeah.
Wow.
So it's...
That is so true. And that was part of the concept from the beginning. And that's fascinating because,
yeah, I mean,
that makes a tightrope look like, you know, the 1800s.
Yes. Well, it is, like I said, it didn't start out like this. It started out by a different version of this with the snake pits. It was kind of flipped and these drums were in the middle. And then the conversation went in the direction of, well, what happens if you put the fans in the middle and kind of shake it up that way? And then all this kind of fell into place. And like we talked about before, the idea of the 4 drum kits, that was like an afterthought.
Right.
And
that was the solution.
Yes. You know, but the challenge of how do you present yourself in this type of setup differently than you do indoors and differently than other bands that play in these types of buildings. That was really it.
And when did the idea for turning the kit? Because what I didn't realize when we spoke on the podcast, I thought we had 4 points of view here, but with this kit turning, you've got like 20 points of view because each of the 4 is 4 or 5 different views. Yeah. I didn't even realize that. So when did that come into play? Because you got many front rows now.
Yeah, I mean, it came
a super cool concept.
It came in along the way. As
the idea was evolving, like somewhere along the line, it was like, what if the kits turn?
To me, these things are very much domino effects. It's like, can you make a choice or a decision, and then that spawns on the next thing, and the next thing, and then it's like, well, hang on a second. Wait a minute. There's people, you know, like some of these vocal mics. You know, James was initially singing a lot this way, but then putting vocal mics and singing in it. And you'll see tomorrow that I played, you know, to these fans, but also to these fans here.
Yeah.
So the idea of being able to turn it, they're sort of like creative afterthoughts that just become obvious as you all of a sudden stand here and the whole thing is real.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Huge difference, though. Yeah. Lars Ulrich, David Frangioni, modern drummer. Check out Metallica on their 72 Seasons tour. This kit is awesome. I love the yellow theme, and it even blends with all the touches here. Thank you, Lars.
This
is awesome.
Thank you
for taking around the kit.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody out there. And
see you
know where to find us.
Yeah.